That's hilarious. You need to start watching season 3 of Love Island because that's hilarious.
Oh no. Well, you started it without me because no, we can't talk about this. We'll fight on the podcast.
Welcome to Our Life in Books, where we talk about our lives, books, and everything in between. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Samantha, and we're cousins. And this week we're talking about our bookish pet peeves.
Yes.
And it feels so good to be back. We took a week off.
We did.
And this feels like, it feels good.
It does. Yeah, it feels good to get back into the routine. I felt a little lost last week.
Yeah, I did too.
What am I doing with my life?
And I feel like we're a little rusty because it's already 10 o'clock and we're just now
10?
starting. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. But first, what tea are we drinking this week?
So this is specialty. We created
It's a specialty.
Oh, no. A pun I didn't intend. So we created a special Our Life in Books blend on Adagio. You can go get your sample now. They're $5 for like the little tins. But the flavors are Ceylon Sonata black tea, blueberry, and cream.
It's really good.
It is pretty
I think
good.
it's going to be my go-to tea.
Do you like it better than your special TARDIS tea?
I think so. I think this is my fave.
It is pretty good. I was surprised. I'm not super confident in my blending skills yet, so I'm always afraid that the flavor is going to overpower everything, and it really didn't. Oh, I said Ceylon Sonata blueberry and cream, but it also has a scoop of cinnamon.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot we did that, and I did see it in the tin. I just didn't write it down. I don't know.
Yeah, so if you go to Adagio, the little samplers are only $5 if you're already doing an order. And I think if it's your first time, you get $5 off an order, right?
Yes, and you can email me for
a coupon.
Yes.
And if you want to, this is like the best way to support our podcast right now is to go in, check out our tea, and get some. It has Our Life in Books logo on it, the newest one. We have a couple other fandom teas on there if you want to check those out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. It's probably my favorite go-to tea now.
Yeah, I'm excited because that's kind of what we did. We wanted to create a new favorite tea with some of our favorite flavors.
Exactly, yeah.
It worked out.
And we want to mention that this month for our OLIB reading challenge is historical fiction, which is going to be a little tough for me. So I have Elizabeth helping me kind of find my first historical fiction book.
Your first that you're gonna like, I think. That's the thing we need to find is one that you're gonna enjoy.
And so I can get into that kind of genre. That's why we kind of did this reading challenge, is so we could challenge not only ourselves but the people that we read with to like branch out and read something out of your comfort zone. And historical fiction is definitely out of my comfort zone.
Hold on.
What's up?
Hold on.
She has her thinking face on.
Hold on.
And I'm just going to sit here and stare at you. What are you doing? Tell us. What are you doing?
I just had a panic moment. I don't know if it is historical fiction.
I thought it was because you were like, me.
That's next month. We're planning ahead. It's next month. I am so sorry. May is indie author month.
How do we skip that?
I don't know. But anyway, so we're planning ahead. I had it in my head because I did want to start.
Well, because I've already read my indie author. Have you?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Not. Yeah, I've read my indie author.
So I apologize. May is indie author. So that means you should try and find a book that the author self-published, basically.
Yes.
They didn't go through one of the big publishing houses like Penguin Random House and Bloomsbury and none of those big ones. It has to be self-published. So some of our favorites, we love, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name right now. Martina McGatty.
Yeah.
McGatty.
Siobhan Davis is
course.
Mine. There's a couple other ones that I could name. Yes. If you have BookBub, go on there and follow me. I mostly follow indie authors and kind of post about their books. So if you're looking for, but those are romance. There's a couple thriller and mysteries in there as well. Yeah, and if you go to Kindle Unlimited, a lot of those are, if they're standalone books, or even if they're series, those are a lot of indie authors, so you can go check that out as well. Yes. Sorry we messed that up. Good job. Good job, us.
Well, I just had a panic, and I was like, wait a minute. This month is indie author, because I really want to read Elise Kova's Air Awakens, because I haven't read that series yet.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought the whole, the ebook box set.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just sitting on my phone, and I really need to read it because that is one that I just want to blaze through.
Yeah. Sorry, my headphones are all tangled, and it's making a noise in my ear. So what are you currently reading this month?
Okay, so last night, actually, I just finished Internment. I think I talked about it last time on the podcast how I was starting it.
Yes.
But I keep doing this to myself. So last time I was just starting it, and I only got to read like the first 2 chapters, and then I realized I had 3 different blog tours I was in that I had to read books for. So I read all those and then finally got back to internment. I just finished it last night. It's so good.
What's it about again? Can you remind us? Because I don't remember.
So if you have read The Hate U Give.
Okay.
And it gave you that feeling where you just felt fired up and like you need to do something. You need to get out there and like do something.
Yeah.
This book gives you that same feeling. So the author herself describes it as, because it's supposed to be set in the future of the United States, but she describes it as 15 minutes in the future because it really feels like it could be right now.
Okay.
The way she describes the president and like all the things happening in the country feel like it could be happening right now if everything was escalated just a tiny bit.
Okay.
So it's basically Muslims are illegal. Like, it's illegal to be a Muslim.
Oh, gosh.
And so they take, like, the most recent census, and everyone who answered that they are a Muslim, they start gathering them up and taking them to internment camps.
Oh, my gosh.
And so the main character, Layla, her and her parents get sent to one of these, and it's, it's basically her journey inside of this camp and, like, what she has to do to not only survive in there, but, that's basically what her parents want. Like, they just want to survive. They just want to get through it. And she has that spark and that fire in her, and she will not just lay down and take this.
Yeah.
She's like, we're people, too. This is unfair. It's unjust. It's not okay.
Yeah.
And so, it's her, rebelling and doing what she's got to do. But it did. It had that same feeling as, like, The Hate U Give, because at the end of it, I cried my face off.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then I was like, I want to get out there and do things. I can't, I don't want to just sit by and while this kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because like she said, it's 15 minutes in the future, we're on the cusp of this, and it's terrifying.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, I think that sounds so good. It's definitely on my TBR list.
So that was Internment by Samira Ahmed, because I don't think I ever said her name.
Oh, okay, yeah. And did you also read something else?
So I'm like 15% away from finishing The Devouring Gray by Christine Lynn Herman.
Oh, I need to read this.
It's really, really good. It's a paranormal fantasy YA.
Ooh.
And it's about this town where everything in the town is just a little bit off, a little bit different. And there's 4 founding families of this town, and people know that the founding families protect them, but I think they don't quite understand what from.
Yeah.
And it's this gray, it's this being in the forest, and it's darkness, and you don't really get a feel for what it is, but you feel that creepy feeling the whole time, it's just beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about the 4 different families, and you get to know the teenagers of the 4 different families, and it's pretty good. Like I said, I'm almost done. But it is one of those twisty mystery kind of things too, so I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
But it's very good.
Yeah, I need to read that this month. I have so many books to read. But I read, for my indie author, no surprise, Siobhan Davis. I might try to read someone else as well, but she has a book coming out called No Feelings Involved. And so
this is one of her contemporaries, not sci-fi, right?
No, yeah, this is a contemporary romance. And it comes out, I don't know, it's sometime this month. I'll let you guys know when it does. So basically, it's one of her books that has characters from another book in it.
Oh, okay.
And they're kind of in it somehow, so you kind of know the world and you know what's going on in it. Mm-hmm. It was When Forever Changes. I read that a couple months ago, and it's basically the best friend. It's the brother and best friend of that book. Basically, it's about this guy who doesn't believe in love, and then he meets this girl, and she talks him into losing her V card to him because she doesn't want to lose it to some random person.
Yeah.
And so he does that, or not some random person, but she doesn't want to lose it to someone who's inexperienced and will not treat her right.
Oh, okay.
And so then he finds out that it's his best friend's little sister. And so it's just them trying to move on and ignore what happened and then try, but they're also getting to know each other and they're becoming friends and more than friends, but they want to not be. So it's really interesting. A lot of things about trust. A warning would be that it kind of talks about loss of babies. So that's kind of hard. But it was sad, but it was also like really good too. So that I recommend that. I just got done reading that. And then I am still reading Lord of Shadows because I got wrapped up in that. But I'm farther along, and oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to. There's one more after this, and that's the one I haven't read. But I'm so glad I went back and read Lord of Shadows because I completely forgot some of the stuff that happens.
Yeah,
like because I reread it. I reread the first one, Lady Midnight. I think that is what it's called. Before I read Lord of Shadows, so I haven't read this one in a long time. And I'm excited just to be rereading the series again.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that authors need to do, or I don't know, agents or publishers or something. Like, if it's going to be a series,
and they're going to be a long time because these have been coming out like every year and a half.
So each book needs to have like a summary that hits the high points, all the stuff that you're going to need to remember. Kind of like a last week on. You know what I mean? Or
like a little like novella or whatever.
Yeah, we need something.
I didn't mind rereading the books at all. Yeah. It's nice to be in the world, and it's nice to I remember it, but I get to read the details knowing what I already know. Yeah. So that's fun, and I love the world, but I would say if I didn't love the world, it wouldn't be as much fun to reread the book.
Because I have a lot of books on my TBR for this year that are second in a series. Yeah. And I want to go back and read the first one because it's been a while, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I have so many books to read. Right. I don't have time to go back and read all these series.
Oh, exactly. I know we definitely do the thing where if it's going to be the second or third of a book series, we're like, oh, I can't do that. Yeah. I can't commit to reading the first two.
Right?
Yeah.
3 Dark Crowns.
Oh, yeah.
The fourth one comes out this year, and I haven't read the third one yet. But part of me is I'm not gonna read it until I can read all 4.
Oh, exactly.
Because I've read the first 2, but I really want to know, and I don't want spoilers, but at the same time, I need some time set aside to read all of them together.
Yeah.
Back to back to back.
So I feel like that's when you really get into a book series, is when you can read them all back to back.
Yes.
So what new releases are out for this week?
So many books. So this is finally when I decided to split up my new release posts into YA and middle grade, and then all the rest. Basically adult books. I don't want to call them adult necessarily, but everything that's not YA and middle grade. So I'll post links to both of those because there's a ton. It took me forever. But a couple of the ones I want to point out, Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is their new series together. It's another YA sci-fi. Honestly, I haven't read the synopsis because I'm getting ready to read this book, and so I don't want to read through the synopsis.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But
so everyone can go to your website or go to your post on your
So
blog.
Basically, it's in space, and that's all I needed to know about it.
Yeah.
And it's by those 2 amazing authors, so it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
So that is coming out, and then the other one I'm going to be very brief on too because I also have this one in my queue to read next. It's called Middle Game by Shannon McGuire, and this is an adult fantasy. So I don't really read a lot of those, and so I'm really excited to pick this one.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about it.
Her books are so good. I've read a couple other things that she's written, and they're so good. And she does so much. She's out there because it's Shannon McGuire. And then I believe she's also, her pen name is Mira Grant, which she releases books under too. Uh-huh. And she just released a book, I think it was last week, under her pen name.
Really?
So,
wow.
This woman's busy.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about Finale, the Caraval 3 book by Stephanie Garber. I pre-ordered it. I have all 3 now, I think. So I'm like, yay, I get to read the whole series. Right? I think it did a pre-order swag, and I was like, I want I'm going to end up buying it anyway, so I might as well support the author and pre-order it.
Yeah.
So the other book I want to talk about is Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins, and I read the first couple chapters on NetGalley. It's kind of sad I didn't get the whole thing, but at least I got the taste of it. And it's so good. It's about this girl who, really wants to, she has this huge crush on her best friend, and she doesn't know how to tell her. So they kind of get together over the summer, and then her friend goes back with her boyfriend. And her friend might have thought it was just a fling, but to her it wasn't. It was the real deal. So she decides to, like, she's been wanting to go to this boarding school, this one that has, like, great opportunities, but she was staying because of that girl. Yeah. Well, last minute, that all happens, and she decides, I'm going to boarding school. And she, like, apparently it's a school for a bunch of royals, but she doesn't know any of them because she's from America, and it's in Scotland. And so she goes, and her roommate is a princess, but she doesn't know that, so she treats her, because her roommate comes in all snotty, and she just, kind of tells her how it is. And she finds out she's a princess. And so it's just like all the things that happen, like, are they going to become friends? Are they going to become more than friends? Like, what's going to happen? And it was like, I really enjoyed Rachel Hawkins' writing, because immediately from the first couple chapters, I was like, when it ended, I was like, no, I want to read the rest. So I'm definitely going to read this book. And I love the cover too.
It's number 2 in a series?
Yes. So what I read was that Flora, the princess, the first book is about her brother, the prince. Okay. So you can read this book without actually having to know the first one, because trust me, I read the first couple chapters and it literally didn't mention anything. Yeah. There might be like supporting characters from the other book, I'm assuming.
Right. But so kind of like Siobhan Davis.
Yes. And I love those kind of books. But it made me want to read the first one as well, just because Rachel had such like cute. I really liked her character. I liked Millie, and it was very easy to get into. Yeah. And then to stay in, where I was like, wow, like it obviously stuck with me long enough that I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want to read this book. Yeah. And I really like her covers.
Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah, they're very cute. So I wanted to talk about that one. NetGalley, why didn't you send it to me? Why did you break my heart? Well, they at least gave me the first couple chapters, which I am, thankful for. The Kindle Unlimited book of this week is Best of Intentions.
Are you okay?
I don't know what happened. Best of Intentions by L.K. Farlow. Is that how you'd say that name? Farlow?
Yeah.
And it's a romance. I know, you guys, listen, I'm so sorry. I'll work on it.
You're not. You're not sorry.
And it's just basically, typical romance. Like, this girl likes her brother's best friend, which I totally am in love with those kind of romance books. He's a cop. So I've never really read like a story with a cop in it as a lead. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And it looks like something might have happened at her best friend's wedding, so I'm not sure. But it looks really interesting, and I like the cover. It's cute, so I am definitely here for it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so the prime reading book for this week that I found is called Bone Music by Christopher Rice. This is a thriller series.
Ooh.
And I actually I think the first 2 books are out now, and I have both of them. I got sent them by the publisher, which was really sweet of them. I just haven't got to read it yet. But Christopher Rice is the son of Anne Rice, who is the author of Anne Rice, like Interview with the Vampire, I believe is her.
Don't worry, guys. I don't know who Anne Rice is. If you do know who Anne Rice is,
good job. Anne Rice.
I just Googled Anne Rice, too. Interview with a Vampire.
Okay, so she's like a really well-known author.
You're right. I do know that book.
And so this is her son. And so I'm just going to read like the first little paragraph of the synopsis because it sounds so good. Like, it sounds intense.
Okay, yeah, we're here for it.
Charlotte Rose spent the first 7 years of her life in the hands of the only parents she knew, a pair of serial killers who murdered her mother and tried to shape Charlotte into their own twisted image. If only the nightmare had ended when she was rescued. Instead, her real father exploited her tabloid-ready story for fame and profit until Charlotte finally broke free from her ghoulish past and fled. Just when she thinks she has buried her personal hell forever, Charlotte is swept into a frightening new ordeal. Secretly dosed with an experimental drug, she's endowed with a shocking new power, but pursued by a treacherous corporation desperate to control her.
Jeez.
Right? Like, there's
poor girl.
So much going on. But I thought it sounded really good. And like I said, I have the first 2 books. There's 2 books out in the series. I think it's going to be a trilogy. So, get started. And then I think the 3rd one comes out this year, maybe early next year.
Ooh. Yeah, that sounds really good.
So that's Bone Music by Christopher Rice.
Bone Music.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this week we opened our first Tea Seller monthly box. What did you think of it?
It was really cute.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I'm impressed.
I like how they like put your name on the box. I think that's adorable. The teas look really good, and you get all sorts of little gadgets for your first box.
Yeah, so they do a 6 or 12-month subscription.
Yeah, so 6 month is $69 and 12 months is $112. And this is not sponsored. We wanted to test it out, so we bought a subscription.
Yep, rage about it.
Yep.
So your first box comes with like a little tea toolkit kit. You get a tea strainer, a tea timer, and a little teaspoon.
Yes.
And then every month you get 2 different teas
to try out, and they give you a little card, explain the teas, and on some of them it looks like you get a coupon code if you want to buy more tea on their website.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what we get. This first month we got peppermint tea and masala chai.
Yes. So I'm really excited to try them out. I enjoy their teas. We've had them before, and it's going to be fun to like get to try out their new teas that we wouldn't necessarily grab for ourselves.
Right.
When we go
I'm excited to see what we get every month. Like,
I am too.
I'm curious if they're going to follow any kind of like seasonal themes.
I know. Or like if they get special, like if they get new teas, do we get to, they send them out? Because that'll be really interesting. And then we also, I don't know if we've talked about it before, but we kind of showed off our new tea as well, the Our Life in Books tea. So that's exciting. And did you get anything else in the mail this week?
So I got my Game of Thrones box from Riddle's Tea Shop.
It's so cute. Like, I love her little characters.
Right? It's the cutest thing ever. So it's so funny because my youngest son could not understand the concept because the box looks like a game box.
It looks like
Candyland,
yeah.
And he's like, "Are you going to play that game?" And I said, "No, it's not. It's not a game like that. Like, it is a game." So if you ordered the box, you get 5 character cards, like in quotes, because they're not really cards. It's actually 5 different kinds of tea.
Which is adorable.
Based around a Game of Thrones character. And at the end of the season, you get points for the characters that you have based on if they're dead, if they're alive, or if they have the throne. And so I think it's the 3 people, or maybe, was it? I don't remember. But anyway, whoever has the highest points gets prizes.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so you have to take a picture of your character cards, and then it also came with another little card that you could either add or take away points for. So you have to take a picture of all that stuff and then to enter the contest, the game. And of course, it came with an enamel pin and a print. And it was so cute and well put together.
Oh, yeah. Everything that she does is so perfect and meticulous. It's amazing.
I don't know how she finds the time to
I don't know. I don't know either. And everything is like, I've never been disappointed in anything.
Right? Like, we've been talking about putting together one box.
And it's been a struggle. I mean, we've got most everything. We're waiting on 2 things to be done, and then we can start the giveaway process. But dang.
Yeah, it's hard to gather everything and put everything together and like, just coordinate because we have lives outside of this.
Exactly. I got the pre-order the finale book, which was really exciting. So I'm excited to like kind of put those on my TBR list. I'm trying to like put books on this one shelf that are like this year's TBR, so I'm gonna add that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I really want to get like a smaller bookshelf for beside my bed for that exact reason.
That's a good idea. Oh my God, I'm gonna do that too. Let's go shopping.
Deal.
So I had one of our listeners, Hannah. She sent me this Bookish World News, which is this is really cool. If you guys have anything you ever want us to talk about on the podcast, just send it to us. Like we're so open to like learn more things, and I don't think I would have seen this without her sending it to me. And I haven't really had a chance to read it yet, so if you want to open it too, she sent me just I don't think this is the same paper, but it's Baltimore's Mayor Catherine Pugh. Resigns amid children book scandal. So I hadn't really, had you heard anything about this?
No.
So it says, after weeks of mounting pressure, Mayor Catherine of Baltimore resigned on Thursday amid a widening scandal involving hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of children's books that she wrote and that the University of Maryland medical system paid for while she was serving on the board of directors. So let me see. She said, "I'm sorry for the harm I have caused to the image of Baltimore and the credibility of this office as mayor. Baltimore deserves a mayor who can move the city forward." I don't exactly. She was under scrutiny since March when the Baltimore Sun reported that she was one of the 9 members of the Board of University of Maryland medical system who had profited personally from contracts with the hospital system.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
Maintained that she was nothing illegal. She paused for failing to report the deal on disclosure forms when she was state senator and returned the most recent payment of $100,000. So what did she do? I don't understand it. So she spent money.
So she wrote these children's books.
Okay.
And then sold them to the hospital she was on the board for? Is that what I'm gathering from this? And then, but she's on the board, so it's...
conflict of interest? Yeah, I think so.
Because it says she apologized for failing to report the deal on disclosure forms when she was a state senator. So it sounds like she had a vested interest in this hospital.
Yeah, well, I think like where I work, we can't have people on the board that we work with financially because it's a conflict of interest.
Right.
They can like push to like, so they bought them, but she was a board member of it, and it's kind of like a, whoa, there was an ad. Yeah, that's interesting.
It is. Yeah, I hadn't heard about this.
No.
But to be fair, I haven't really like been paying attention to anything in the book world lately. So yeah, there's that also.
Yeah, that's crazy. Thanks, Hannah, for sending that to us.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
More into it and kind of like figure out exactly
deep dive. Yeah, exactly. I saw that you have a note here about what today is.
Right. So, of course, this podcast isn't going to come out today, but I'm going to link to the post. On Book Riot, today, it's actually Tuesday, May 7th, is Vampire Day. So they have all these different like vampire books posted on here. And I thought that was really interesting because like it's different lists with different kinds. Like if you're looking for a vampire book, but you don't know where to start.
Oh, I love me some vampire books.
Like this one, 4 takes on non-Western vampires. So, you know, it is kind of funny.
That is funny.
All the vampire books I've ever read are set here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So, you know, here's 4 books that are not Western vampires. Let's see. Vampire adaptations, 9 vampire novels with a unique twist. So it's all different kinds of lists of vampire
that's fun.
books. So if vampires are your thing or you're looking for a new vampire book to read, I'll link that down below. But I thought that was fun.
Oh, that is really fun. I'm going to have to take a look at that because I am guilty for loving Twilight. I don't care. Come at me.
I feel like you need to go read Anne Rice's books because you didn't know who Anne Rice was, but she is famous for writing vampire books.
I knew the book. I didn't know her name, and also, they do look really good.
I just found out the other day, my boss told me, like, he's not a reader. He doesn't really like to read whatever, but I guess one of his jobs was working overnight, and he... I don't know the name of the exact position, but do you remember like Daniel used to do it where he stayed overnight with people that needed help getting around and stuff.
Yeah.
So he used to do a job like that and it got boring overnight, so he brought a book and he read the Interview with the Vampire series.
Really?
Yeah, I was
that's
like,
funny.
It's so random.
So I found a fun quiz for us to do really quick. Yes. It's on Epic Reads. It's called There Are 8 Types of Readers in the World. Which one are you? Which I was like, what kind of reader am I? Please tell me.
Exactly.
Tell me what I need to know.
I read all the things.
So the quiz starts with, do you stay up all night reading because you can't wait to find out what will happen next? Are you a devoted book club attendee or your school's resident book recommender? No matter what kind of books you like, everyone has a distinct reading personality that affects which books we like, how we read them, and how we talk about them. So now we have to answer these 8 questions to find out what kind of reader you are and get a recommendation for the next book you're sure to love.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, do you want to read the first question?
Sure. So the first question is, what's in your bag?
And it's a really fun colors. It's like purple with like pinks in it.
Yeah. So a wallet, lip gloss, and a pen, always. A book, of course. My wallet and probably a few snacks. My e-reader. Can't limit myself to just one book.
Ooh.
Right?
I mean, we have our phones.
Right, but I feel like a wallet is a given.
Yeah, well, my thing is like, I'd probably be a wallet, I always have like a chapstick or a lipstick and a pen. I always have those.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm going to go with.
I'm going to go with a book, of course, because I always take a book wherever I go.
Yeah.
Like, even if I know I'm not going to have time to read.
Yeah. See, now I'm like, oh, I have my ebook on my phone. I don't need to bring book. I'm going to read it on here.
And I've also turned into your mother, and I have a bag that I carry.
Oh, my God. So do I, but I'm not going to admit that.
So I'm going to say a book, of course.
All right. Next question is, what's your go-to binge show?
Oh.
We've got The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Game of Thrones, The Office, The Handmaid's Tale, Schmitz Creek. Wait.
It is a word that I don't know if we can say.
Okay. Schmitz Creek. I'm going to say that. The Crown, The Bold Type, Stranger Things, or Queer Eye. Oh, that's so difficult. Oh, okay, so what are you thinking so far? Because I'm thinking The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Have you listened to that? Oh, it's so good. The Office, Stranger Things, Queer Eye. Those are my tops.
My go-to binge
so is
show
mine.
is
Office. Yeah. Okay.
Like, hands down.
All right. Fine. Fine.
How prepared are you for a pop quiz at any time? Absolutely. I am on my studying game. Definitely wish I paid a little better attention in class, but I'll be fine. Or I may need to borrow a pencil.
Okay, we're talking like back when we were in school.
Right.
Okay, then mine's probably I may need to borrow a pencil.
Yeah, mine's absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say my biggest thing about school was people were like, she just needs to pay attention. I'm pretty sure I had ADHD. All right, what's your favorite season? So it looks like summer.
Spring,
summer, fall, winter.
The only season.
Well, it had flowers. Okay. All right. Let me explain. There's flowers, a beach, some leaves, and snow. So I get the leaves and the snow, but I was like, which one's spring and which one's summer? All right.
The beach is summer.
Let's go to the beach each. Nicki Minaj.
God. Okay.
Okay. What's your favorite? I know. Mine's either spring or fall.
That's mine too. I think I'm going to go spring.
Okay. Then I'll go with fall. To be different. I'm different.
All right. Your perfect Friday night is by myself and cozy on my couch. My closest friends, no matter what we're doing, will have a great time. A reservation at that new restaurant I read about online. Or ideally at some kind of concert or party.
It's so crazy, like the difference in age of what your answer would be.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, ideally some kind of concert party, but now I'm like, couch by myself.
Cozy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Yep.
Even though we hang out together on Fridays, we're like, but just hang out on the couch.
It's the same as by myself.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
All right, what's your favorite morning drink? So you've got black coffee, like fancy a fancy espresso, not espresso, like a frappuccino, Starbucks coffee. Tea, blueberry smoothie, orange juice, or water? Water.
Tea. Always.
Oh, my favorite morning drink. I'm gonna have to go with this. Not the Starbucks one, but I enjoy a white chocolate mocha.
Oh.
It's like a hot chocolate and coffee. It's basically just hot chocolate. Stop poking yourself in the eye.
Dead. All right. When something weird happens, who do you text about it first? My best friend immediately. Honestly, I need to tweet if anything. Or maybe Instagram. Someone in my family, probably.
Oh.
Best friend.
Yeah, I was going to say like, best friend.
As soon as I read it, I was like, you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I usually text you or I send you a picture.
Right, exactly.
What's your favorite color? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, pink, purple, black.
Black. Are we talking about color I wear or just like color in general?
Color in general. I still go for black, I think.
I really like blue.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I did not know that about you.
Really? Like a teal. I like a teal blue.
That's not a teal blue.
It's not, so black.
That's what's like, you like that color blue? Like
no, not that
like
one.
Like my old high school color
like
blue.
Turquoise blue.
Yeah, I would say that's
like
your favorite.
Purple.
I was going to say purple, turquoise, blue, and pink used to be our colors, remember?
Yeah, but pink not anymore.
Yeah, but purple wasn't mine. Oh, I clicked black. So I guess that's what mine is.
That's the end.
All right. Did you click one?
Yeah.
Okay. I got the book to movie strategist.
We got different ones.
Yay! Okay, I'll go first. Okay. You're a total book to movie strategist. When people ask book or movie, you meet them with a blank stare. Why pick one when you could have both? You keep a calendar of midnight premieres, and you probably have the IMDb app on your phone. I do. Your perfect next read, the Artemis Fowl series by Ian Kaufner. hitting theaters this summer. It is true because I do like to read the book and then go watch the movie, and I get very, very excited about that. So that's crazy. I'm going to have to check out that book.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. What'd you get?
The Stay Up All Night Reader.
That is so you.
You love nothing more than getting sucked into a news story, even if it means you're reading under the covers with your phone flashlight and falling asleep in bio the next day. Or at work, because I'm an adult.
Yeah. You are?
Your perfect next read, Sadie by Courtney Summers, is a thriller you won't be able to peel yourself away from.
That's so true.
It's true, because I've already read it.
Yeah. So the book that I got, Artemis Fowl, is 12-year-old Artemis Fowl is a millionaire, a genius, and above all, a criminal mastermind. But even Artemis doesn't know what he's taken on when he kidnaps a fairy, Captain Holly Short of Leprechaun Unit. These aren't the fairies at bedtime stories. They're dangerous, full of unexpected twists and turns. Artemis Fowl is a riveting magical adventure. And it looks like it's a Kindle Unlimited book.
What's the cover look like?
It looks like a diary.
I've heard of this book. Okay.
But then, see, look, here's like the teaser trailer. And I am a teaser, like, person. I love watching, like, trailers, and I have not seen this. So I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
Looks like it's Disney Books. So that's maybe why you saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do a re-release of the books for the movie. Because a lot of times when they do that, the aliens are landing again.
Did you hear that noise? Weird. Okay, keep talking.
A lot of times if they do a re-release of the book, it'll be on like NetGalley or something. Yeah. So I am curious.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. That was a fun quiz.
Yeah, I like it.
Everyone should go take it and let us know what you get.
Yes. What did I do? Oh, okay. We're good. We good.
You good? So, you ready to get into this week's topic?
No.
Okay,
I'm kidding.
Well, that's all we have for today. I couldn't remember my outro. Well, that's all we have for today.
That's it, folks.
That's all, folks. Erase that from everyone's memories.
Forever.
What? Okay, what's the holdup?
No, I was just kidding. I was trying to think of something because I thought of something to talk about in T-Chat.
Oh.
And now I forgot.
Okay, you keep thinking. So this week's episode is Booish Pet Peeves.
No, it's not.
So she typed, instead of Bookish Pet Peeves in our document, she put Booish. And I was like, ooh, Booish.
No, you couldn't get it out first.
No, I started cry laughing. Because I was like, where's the document? And I was like, Booish Pet Peeves, what is this? Halloween week, Booish Pet Peeves. So we came up with a list, and we're going to chat with them. Oh, God. Really, David? Why are you FaceTiming me right now? Oh, what is this episode?
We're a mess.
Yeah.
Wookie.
You're my dad. So I think I'm looking at if we have anything. What are you doing?
Oh my God. I'm wrapping the blanket around my feet.
Oh.
Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
That's probably one of my favorites.
Okay. So, are we going to get into it?
Sorry. I'm texting David. I said, we're podcasting. What's up? Hey, stop. He just tried calling again. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about our bookish pet peeves.
Oh, my God. Are we?
I don't know.
All right. So, I think we should, kind of go back and forth. Yeah. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You have to start.
Okay. So, the first one I thought of when I started thinking of bookish pet peeves is insta-love. I hate the trope insta-love.
Okay, explain. What is insta-love to you?
Like Jason Clary. They meet and they're in love, even though they think they're brother and sister, and there's no reason for them to be in love because...
You think they were instantly in love?
Not that I want to call out specific books, but that's the one that came to mind. Or
I guess I didn't read it like they were instantly in love. Don't you crap on my Twilight.
Listen, I don't like insta-love. I want to do another episode.
I think it was instant infatuation.
Yeah, but
with that,
it's to say get to know somebody because they're probably terrible. Everybody's terrible. Find some flaws for a second, please.
You guys hear this? She just kind of stomped. Oh, we gotta get into it in this episode.
No, so
you're stomping on my love.
I want to do a whole nother episode on tropes we love. because the one that I love is enemies to lovers.
Oh, yeah.
I love that because I feel like...
Because you have a dark black heart.
Well, but like you get out, like you don't like them for a reason, and then you learn to like this person because like we all suck, right?
Okay, you know what? We're done. We're not doing this episode. You've already triggered me and I'm angry.
Saying, but like to go in like head over heels in love with someone, like you're just gonna get disappointed. I'm so sorry.
I think we need to video this podcast. My mouth is hanging open, and I'm like, all right, we're going to fight. Gloves are off. Because I enjoy those. Not that they're bad, but I'm like, I think they're infatuated and they fall in love, and I think they have issues.
I'm so sorry.
I just feel attacked. I feel attacked right now.
Oh.
My mouth is like, what? Don't bring up the 2 books I like. Why you gotta come at me like that?
Well, I can't think of anything else like off the top of my head.
Oh, okay, all right. What books do you like so I can on them? No.
You have to edit that.
Never.
You can't say
Nope,
that word.
nope. I'm gonna start cussing all the time now because I'm angry.
Really though, okay, so it's to love I don't like.
My face are dramatic.
Like get to know somebody before you decide that you are head over heels.
Okay, you call me your cold dead heart over there.
So what do you hate?
Whatever Elizabeth loves, I hate. Well, my first one was spelling. My first one was spelling and grammar mistakes, you evil, evil lady.
Maybe I shouldn't have gone in so hard.
You just came in, guns blazing.
Well, that was the first thing I thought of, though.
You are evil. So I find it really hard to read a book if there's some grammar and spelling mistakes. In the final copies, not in like the arcs and stuff like that. I totally get when that.
Right. Well, in arcs, you have to be like I still get that feeling where I'm like, oh, but then it's like, okay, you need to chill.
Yeah, and also arcs, they usually don't say like, oh, send it to us because these aren't the final revisions. But when I find it in a final book, I'm like, ooh,
right. You're like, who edited this?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Exactly.
And how many people read this before me to not see this?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
So that's one of mine.
So that leads into my next one, which is
great.
like,
Here we go.
No. So
yeah, what's up?
repeated phrases.
Okay, yeah, I saw this. I don't know, understand. Like, give me.
So, one of the books I just read, and now I can't think.
You don't have to call it out, but just like
No,
give
I'm
us
not
an
gonna say the
example.
book. I'm trying to think of like.
Oh, not like the
phrase.
romance books.
I'm sorry. Okay, so so one of the books I just read, they constantly said they snapped their head back or something weird, and I was like,
I did read a book like that,
and I was like, oh my. What are these people breaking their necks? Like, why are you snapping your head back so much?
Yeah.
I hate it.
I did read a book like that where they kept doing an action over and over again. I was like, is that the only action they do?
Right. Well, it's like I don't know. Like the author has this thing that it's probably something they say daily or something, but it's like I wish the editor would have caught that. Because it's too much. Yeah. It's like every chapter someone's snapping their head back.
And you're like, whoa.
I'm just like, you couldn't think of something else?
Yeah, that would get annoying if it was the same stuff over and over again.
But I've heard, and I don't remember what the phrase is, but I've heard other like very popular YA authors have been called out for the same thing, for having like this certain phrase repeated throughout the whole book constantly. Mm-hmm. But it's something that once you notice it, you can't stop noticing it, and then it just grates on you.
Oh, yeah. I guess it kind of like leads in because it's about repeating. I don't really like when, I know we talked about how it would be great if like the next book like talked about, it had a little summary. Yeah. But I've read books that like basically the whole like first 3 chapters is catching up the reader on what happened. And I'm like, I do like how Cassandra Clare does it, where she sprinkles it in, like when they bring up a character, oh, this character, you remember them, they're from this and this and this, like one sentence, done with it. Mm-hmm. But I've read a couple other series where the first couple chapters were catching up, and I'm like, I'm here. This is the 7th book of the chapter.
I wonder though, like who's that for? Because like, is it for somebody who's never read the first book? Or like you know what I mean?
I don't know. Because I don't want to say the series, but there's like 12 books in it, and I got up to 7. And it was just like, they're like 200 pages. So they're not that big. And the first half would be like catching up on the thing. Then it would be like the story, and then a cliffhanger. And then repeat, and then repeat, and repeat. And I'm like, okay, but I'm in the 7th book. I already know what happened but it would tell like what happened through the first 6 books. Yikes. To like catch you. I don't know if it was just because it was like an older series. I can tell you. It's
well, I guess what I was gonna say is like, what's the like? Is it adult, young adult, middle grade?
So it's YA, but I want to say like it was like older YA where maybe it was geared towards middle grade. I'm thinking so.
Because I think that happens a lot with like middle grade books because the younger readers don't retain the information as much.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I want to see when it was.
But still, that is.
Well, it was published in 2007, the first one. So.
Does it say? Like, is it a middle grade?
Let me look. It just says young adult, paranormal, fantasy, vampires. It's not bad. I actually enjoy like the plot, and I enjoy the characters and the unique, like, things about it. It was just like, okay, like I'm already in book 7. I've been here.
Right.
Like, can we just
like if you
get going?
If you're reading them each a year apart or a year and a half apart, I guess, it could make sense.
Yeah, but not for that much. You know what I mean?
But like we were talking about before, that would work if it was a separate summary thing that you wanted to read.
That's what I mean. Mm-hmm.
But if you're going into the book thinking you're just gonna read through the series and read the next one and the next one, and then you're like, I'm wasting all this time rereading.
Exactly. Like I was skipping paragraphs, being like, okay, well, I already know about this town. I already know what happened to this person. Like, one sentence, like a couple sentences, if you want to get into the nitty gritty. But like, okay, this is getting too much, and now I'm like, I do feel like I'm wasting my time. And I do feel like, what's the point of reading this when I know exactly, like, you're not switching it up. It's like, you read it, then filling in, like, what's happened after the first book, and then there's a cliffhanger, and then repeat over and over and over again.
It's so frustrating, because then you don't get to your cliffhanger until, like, halfway through the book.
Yeah. So. And you're like, well, that was fun. And the thing is,
you're annoyed by the time you get there.
Well, and then I get to the cliffhanger, the book ends.
Yeah.
And then I start the next book, and it just starts reiterating what I just read. And I'm like, okay, I can't. I have to take a break. I'm getting annoyed.
Oh, yeah. That's annoying.
Yeah, that was one of mine.
Okay. So here's one that I don't like. Speaking of cliffhangers, I don't like the opposite of cliffhangers.
Okay.
Perfectly tied up endings.
Oh my God, we're gonna have issues today, aren't we?
So much.
You don't like happy endings?
It's not the I like happy endings, but so there's one author and she's very prolific. She's got tons of books, and I read one of her books, and I threw it against the wall, and I was like, never again will I read one of her books, because like it was like a mystery, whatever, and there ended up being 2 different bad guys. Okay. And the end was, one bullet was shot from one gun, and that bullet went through both of the bad guys and killed both of them. And everyone's lived happily ever after. And I was like, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. No, like, that's not okay. Yeah. Like, he doesn't need, I don't know, like, it's not like I want a bad guy to get away, but at the same time, the same bullet kills both of them. Come on. Yeah. Like, I hated it. But it felt like it was just tied up with a pretty bow, and,
Yeah. I guess I would be like the same if I'm reading a fantasy and, like, not to be like morbid, but no one like dies. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, I do enjoy like that, or like with like Siobhan Davis's books, there are like some tragedy. So there needs to be these characters can't go through everything and just be like, oh, everything works out for us and we didn't have to go through anything. And like, I have seen a couple that are going to end up, it felt like in other books that they're going to end up like perfectly happy, and then something happens and I'm like, okay, well, I feel like you need just some turmoil, you need some like real world consequences.
Right. Like I don't want to go into a book going like, I need one of these main characters to die. But
no. But you want them to go through some things.
Like, you kind of expect some character that you like is not going to live through the whole thing. Yeah. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Or if they all live through this book, there might be another one, but they have to go through some things. They have to like lose either like something, either if it's like a part of like their like overall look on life, or like they completely change as a character. They have to make a decision that like is not okay, and it's like that kind of stuff. Like
there has to be something big that happens that's not like, oh, we're all happy now and
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I definitely agree about that.
It makes me insane. As you can tell, like I said, we go to like the used bookstores and when we go back and visit our parents, and her books are all over the shelves, and I always like grab it right at first because it's a mystery, and then I'm like, no, because I'm sure that's like her style. Oh. I mean, I don't know, I've only read one, but I imagine that's her style, given that she's written like 40 books or something ridiculous.
Yeah, and it seems like people like it. It's just not for us.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't.
Well, I had to call our listener, Hannah, my friend, because I couldn't remember what it was called, but I don't like plot-driven books. Okay. Plot-driven books are okay. Just all the ones I've read, I like them. I was like, that was a really good book, but I wanted more.
You like that connection with the character, right?
Yeah, so I like character-driven. Because I think you do too. We like the development of the characters. What I've noticed with plot-driven books, I love the action. She kind of showed it as like a very fast-paced action movie. Yeah, that's her example. Right. So like plot-driven, you go through all the things. There's a lot of things happening, but you don't care when a character dies. Character dies, and you're like, oh well, that character died. I'm going to keep reading because it's a very like action-packed thing. And that's fine. I didn't mind it. I was like, oh, I really like that. But the one pet peeve, I was like, well, I really wish that I cared about the characters and I cared because at the end I put the book down and I was like, oh, that was a good story. That was interesting, but I don't care. I don't care to reread it. I don't care to hope that there's a second. I want to know more about the character. So I'm definitely a more character-driven book reader.
Yeah, I've had books too where they should have been like character-driven. They should have had all this world building and you should have gotten close to the characters. But somehow, like, the writing fell flat and nothing really worked out that way. It wasn't plot-driven, but I just remember, and I don't know what book it was now, but I remember one of the main characters died, and I felt like I was supposed to be feeling something, and I was like, I don't even care.
That's exactly what happened in the book, and I don't remember the book, but it was a really, like, I really liked I did like the plot, and I did like the characters, and, like, not the characters, sorry. I did like the superficial characters that I met, and I liked the idea behind it. But yeah, a character died, a main character, and I was like, eh. Yeah. Like, I don't know you. I have no idea about your past, what your feelings are. I know what you are and who you are.
Right. And that's it. You want your characters to be three-dimensional, not two.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the only way you can get me into a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Feel that?
You feel it? You feel me?
Okay, this is like on a totally different...
I'm waiting for you to attack me again. I'm waiting.
No, this is on like a totally different field than everything we've talked about. But it is a bookish thing. Okay. So I don't like bookish gatekeeping. You know what gatekeeping is, right?
No.
You've heard that?
I have not heard of it. And maybe the listeners haven't either. So please explain it.
Well, so I obviously follow a Reddit on gatekeeping. But it's where, people are like... real girls don't do this, or real men, blah, blah, blah.
Time out. Are these chairs hurting your back?
Not my back. I'm just uncomfortable.
Oh, okay. I'm uncomfortable too. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so people gatekeep a lot of stuff, or they're like, who says girls can't go to the beach? Who says, like this weird, like, why are you saying this? Because that's not a real thing. Like, okay. It's like gatekeeping. Like, you're the guardian, you say, these people can do this thing and you can't do this thing.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, what I don't like is gatekeeping, like in the bookish community, where it's like, oh, you haven't read Pride and Prejudice, you're not a real book lover.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I didn't understand your other analogy. Sorry. I'm here now.
Those are the, like, if you you have to follow the Reddit. It's
okay, yeah. What's the Reddit called? Do you know?
Just ridiculous.
Just gatekeeping?
Just gatekeeping.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like I see that.
Like, here's one. You're weird if you like Twilight. Is that one? Or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like if Twilight's your favorite book, then you're not a real reader.
Yeah. Like,
okay. Well, it's a book. Is it not a book? Because it's a book.
Exactly.
People are allowed to have their own opinions, but like I don't know. I feel like I see it more, or maybe I'm more offended when it's the classics, and people are like, "Well, you're not a real reader if you haven't read the classics." There's a lot of classics I haven't read, but I'm also not super interested in reading them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you want me to read it and hate it? Does that make me more of a reader? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that
okay. I'm glad I did not know that was a thing, but yeah, that's interesting. Huh. I did not know gatekeeping was a thing. I'm going to have to go look at the Reddit.
Some of them are, like, some of my analogies sucked because it actually was something else, but I didn't know how to switch it to be PC for our podcast. Some of them are really bad.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll switch gears into more of the physicals of books, and I don't know. I didn't realize, I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover. It's very, very hard when the cover is obnoxious. Right. Covers that are just a picture, or it looks like they did it in, what was that? Just
MS
paint? Yep, yeah. MS Paint. Or it's like super busy. There's like so much going on, and it doesn't make sense. It's not like, it's not done by a professional graphic designer. You know, that really bothers me.
Someone basically just like
slapped some text and pictures on there.
Yeah, like they went and searched clip art or something and just like pasted it into a rectangle shape.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't look nice. And it's just, it does like deter me. Like definitely, I know this is probably a lot of like indie authors, which stinks because of course I want to support them. But
yeah,
at least get some advice from a designer before you put together your book, your cover. And you can always change it. I know authors are always updating their covers because they've gotten feedback from them. I do like that on NetGalley. You get to be like, hey, I like this cover, maybe you should change it. And you can say like, why?
There are quite a few like indie authors that we both follow, and they talk a lot about their process and how they do this kind of stuff. And a lot of them hire artists. They find artists that, you know, create things that they enjoy or they like their style, and then they hire them. Because like Elise Kova, I've talked about her a lot. Almost all of her covers are very, very similar. And I think it's because she's got the same artist.
Yeah, you just stick with the same artist. Yeah. Back in graphic design, when I was in college, what couple of our graphic design classes, it was a competition to design book covers for people.
Really?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Cool. So it's like, you know, there are a lot of young artists out there, and if you like their work and you give them direction, like they're going to create something that you're going to love.
Right.
There's also a lot of good photographers out there. If you want an actual person, just, you know, be mindful of that. I think that, I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but covers do impact some of, if you're good, you need to get someone to grab your book.
Yeah.
Then your story can keep them.
On that line, is there something you like better? Like, do you like people on the cover? Do you like graphics more, designs? Like what kind of like?
I mean, it depends. I've noticed with taking pictures of covers, it seems like a lot more of the mainstream don't use pictures of people, and indie do. And I think there's a tasteful way to do people on the covers.
Pictures or
pictures.
Artwork of people.
You know what I mean? I enjoy it. I would rather have artwork, but I've noticed that mainstream does a lot more artwork. And then indie, Siobhan Davis does a lot of like people. Especially, I think contemporary romance does a lot of people. And I don't mind it as long as it's done nicely.
Yeah.
It's hers, you can tell she got the same artist, that kind of stuff. The text isn't overwhelming, the color scheme is the same. The pictures are tastefully done.
Yeah.
But I think that I enjoy like a good designed cover. Like the ones that really stick out to you and are like, grab me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what we talked about, what was it called? I talked about, it was a new release. Her Highness or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Her Royal
Highness. Yeah. That's really good. I know we were talking about the snake books. Like, those are really good previous episodes. Just, what about you? I really enjoy, like, the design, but I'm also a graphic designer. Right. So I'm pretty picky when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Like, I remember when I first started really, like, noticing book covers. And,
yeah.
Like, that's always a question that's going around in the book community. Like, what's your favorite kind of book cover? And I always used to say that I I hesitate to pick up a book with a person on the cover, whether it's drawn or a picture.
Okay.
Those are always ones that kind of like turn me away. But the more I say it, the more I'm like, I can tick off a ton of books in my head that I'm like, I love that book cover, and it's got a person on the front, so that's silly.
I also think it depends on the genre, what I want to see on the cover. I've noticed, like, with romance, I'm okay with seeing a person on there.
Yeah.
Because weirdly enough, then I'm like, oh, that's kind of the person the author was looking at, thinking of when. But then if it's like a fantasy, I want to see more of like
The
design, the world, the kind of like, if it's like dark, like with Three Dark Crowns, black, and there's like vines and stuff like that. Yeah. Or if it's like the Serpent and Dove one, there's a serpent with like black and gold, and it's really pretty. I'm trying to think of any others. The Cassandra Clare ones, they definitely have like the people in them, but it's more like fantasy, as well as Martina McAtney. Like hers are definitely themed around like this weird circusy themed ish darkness. So I mean, as long as it's going with your theme, and just so you know, like you can tell if someone's professionally done it or not.
Right. Yeah.
And exactly. I think when they don't have someone professionally do it is when I'm like, no, because then I'm not sure if you didn't take this sounds mean. If you didn't take the time to do a good cover, how do I know you took the time to tell a good story?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that's kind of like, that's what I feel like when I see a cover that maybe didn't go through any editing or thought.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
not to be harsh.
That's the initial thing you have to judge on, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're at a bookstore or whatever, and you like, you're not going to pick up a book if it's got a bad cover.
Yeah.
Because exactly, like you're afraid of what's inside.
Yeah. I know when I'm looking, I see a cover that intrigues me and then I read the back. Now, sometimes the back of the book isn't my cup of tea, so I'll put it back. But like that cover is what draws you to it. So it has to be something like well designed, good fonts, because there are bad fonts out there. And, it just...
Comic Sans.
Yeah, Comic Sans. This isn't a lemonade stand. I love that picture. So, yeah.
So if you, like us, want to look at some bad covers...
Oh, my God, yes.
There's a Reddit, and it's terrible book covers.
Oh, it's so funny, guys. It's so funny.
And that's the thing, like, we don't want to...
And some of them weren't real, just so you know. We looked up some of them. Some of them are just jokes. They're just like, it's a joke. Yeah. So don't think that they're all real, because they're not. Some people are just joking around and putting clip art together and saying it's a book cover.
It's not just the cover that's bad. It's, it's the idea behind the book, and it's like...
Yeah.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's a fun little scroll through.
Yeah, and it's all for fun. So, yeah, it's on Reddit. It's really good. Do you say terrible book covers? Yep.
Yeah,
that's
terrible
the Reddit.
Covers. Yep.
Oh, I love that. And then the next one we both look like we have talked about or thought about was folded pages or writing in books.
I can't stand it. I always have to have flags.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like, I really like the idea of like a nice, well-worn book that you've read hundreds of times and you've highlighted and you've wrote in. But at the same time, like this is what I do weekly. I take pictures of books, and like I don't want to take pictures of a ripped up ratty book.
Yeah,
I want to take pictures of a pretty book.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I did. I used to be one of those people when I was younger that folded the corners to save my spot. And then I moved on to like using receipts or whatever piece of paper was closest to me, and now I actually use bookmarks.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I've ever folded, and I have this weird thing, and I don't know if it was the way I was raised. I don't like to damage things that are my property, so I've never been the one, like I never like drew on my walls. Like if I put pictures up, I didn't tape them. I used the correct sticky tack. Like I have a computer, the stickers are on the cover. Like I just don't like to damage things. I don't know why. Not that I'm gonna get rid of my computer and someone else, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense, but in my brain I just can't. So I've never written in books, never folded pages. But I am the type that I never grab a bookmark. I have so many pretty bookmarks, but I'll just grab like a receipt, or I'll tear a page off of a notebook and stick it in there. Or sometimes I'll just like remember what page I'm on if I can't find something.
See, I used to do that, but like I have so many bookmarks now. So I made it a habit every time I grab a new book off my shelf, I go to my bookmark cup and pick a bookmark out too to go with my book. Yeah, that's a good idea. And so that's been like my weird thing too, is now I'm like, my bookmark has to match my book somehow. Yeah. But I've got so many bookmarks, I mean, why not?
Oh, exactly. They're getting good use. Yeah, so I'm glad we agreed on that, because I don't really like to damage books. Now, I will say my favorite book, Perks of Being a Wallflower, it is a little rough, but that's because it's a smaller book. Yeah. And so I used to carry it with me all the time. And when I was like feeling a certain way, I'd read because I know where everything is in that book. So I'd like read a certain page or like reflect on it if I wanted to remember something. So that's like, I think that's my only worn book. But then now I love it so much, I don't want to get a new one. I thought about getting a new one to take pictures of, but I was like, nah, I love this one. But that's like my only one that I've done that way.
Yeah.
But I did used to be the person who was reading a paperback and I'd fold the other page back behind. So I guess I did used to do that. My bad. Okay, the last thing that I think I wanted to talk about, I think you'll agree with it, is Goodreads.
Goodreads is your pet peeve.
I think there's a pet peeve of how nasty people are on there. I don't know. I just feel like it's a place that everyone just needs to shout their opinions about everything. And I just don't feel like I need to be negative. Like, I understand this is a pet peeve episode and we are talking about negatives, but I don't feel like I need to just like...
Well, that's the thing. We don't go and blast a book.
No, that's why we're like, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like, I don't really want to say it because, like, again, that could be someone's favorite book. Yeah. And my experience is not going to be the same as yours.
Specific books in the beginning, but it was only to
give a reference. Right. Yeah, exactly. No. And I was just kidding. I love those books no matter what you say. So it's like...
Yeah, well, and I loved them when I read them.
Oh, exactly. I was going to say...
I mean, I've never liked Clary and Jace, but I do enjoy that world.
Yes, so. And I have receipts of you loving Twilight.
I did. I loved Twilight.
Because remember that Facebook post? We found an old Facebook post of Elizabeth. She's like, why are any guys like the guys in Twilight?
But to be fair, I read 4 books? I read all 4 books in like a week.
So did I.
Couldn't frigging put them down.
They were really good.
It was good.
And it was the first Twilight. It was the first vampire book I'd ever read. So that was really interesting to me too.
Well, but now looking back, it's just
now she has a cold, dead heart.
So
she's gotten old with a cold, dead heart.
It's true.
And see, I still love them. I still reread them. But I'm a hopeless romantic. So
yeah, no.
See, this is why we're both good at this podcast, because we're gonna fight.
Well, it's funny because I do remember when Alex and I were first dating, and I told, one of my friends who kind of helped me through my previous breakup.
Not me.
I said,
I did.
I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and they're like, "You need to stop."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, honestly, I'm waiting for him to be a jerk, because why wouldn't he be?" But now it's been 10 years, and he's not. So I guess
he's thawing your cold, dead heart.
But back to Goodreads. I did want to say something real quick.
Oh, no, okay, what?
I do like Goodreads for keeping track of what I'm reading.
Oh, I do too. And I actually do read, like, my friends on Goodreads. I read their reviews, but
one of my favorite
I know you do, because you are like the opposite of me.
As soon as I get done with the book, especially if I love that book, I like to go through Goodreads and find the 1 and 2 star reviews and just see, like, I want to see the other opinion and be like, well, what did I miss about this book? Or maybe what did I get wrong? Or
I still remember the night that you showed me that, and you're like, oh, just go to your favorite books and then read the bad reviews. And I was yelling at my phone. I was like, how dare you say this about my book that I loved?
I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like I said, I mean, especially if I just finish a book and I love it, like I want to go see. I do. I want to see where I was wrong, or like see like the dissenting opinions and be like, why did you not like it? And why did I love it so much?
Yeah, because it's like, well, it's all about your opinions on life and your experiences is how you perceive a book. Yeah. So like that's why we kind of have differing opinions in certain things, because you like to crush my dreams. And so I really, I don't like when people are just blatantly mean. I've read those that are just like give me.
That's my thing.
Don't say I don't like it. Kind of just like give me idea. At least like write like why you didn't enjoy it. You obviously finished it, so something might have. I've stopped reading books because I didn't like them. Right. So give me something.
And my favorite review, like my favorite negative reviews, are the ones that like list out point by point, like this is what didn't work for me. But then at the end,
they don't
always
give like a 1 star. They're like, hey, I finished it. 2 stars, 3 stars.
Yeah, and they always say, like, it didn't work for me, but I can see why other people would love it.
Yeah, so definitely.
You have to acknowledge we're all different. We're all going to enjoy different things. We looked at some books tonight that are not our cup of tea, but obviously some people like them.
Yes, because they had 4 stars on Goodreads.
But to be fair, we're never going to pick them up either.
Exactly.
Like, we would never.
So why would I go to that book? I would never go to that book and give it a 1 star. You know what I mean? Like and be like, I don't like the subject of this book. Well, then don't read it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of like where I have a pet peeve of Goodreads. It's good and bad. It's not. I like Goodreads as a whole. I wouldn't be able to keep track of any of my books without it.
And we do read and review books, but I don't know. I think our philosophy is like, if I read that whole thing, I obviously liked something about it, so I can say something positive about it.
Yes, I can say what I didn't like about it, but I'm not going to give it a 1 star because
I'm not going to be super negative about the things I didn't like.
No, you're going to say it spin it in a nice way, because at the end of the day, they wrote a book, so.
Like, authors see this? Like, a lot of them say that
I think a lot of people don't. Yeah, we've talked to multiple authors and publishers who are like, we don't like going on Goodreads.
But you know that they do it. Oh,
yeah.
And you don't want to be the one that, like, crushes their dreams.
Or they're like, you're the one. I'm like, no. I don't think I've ever left a bad review.
It does mess me up, though, once I know an author reads my review. I just had an author respond to me on a post, and I haven't responded back to her yet because she said so many, like, very nice things, and the book really, like, hit me hard and hit me close to home, and I don't know what to say back. Other than, like, your book is important, you know? Like, I don't... I do want the authors to see the good reviews, but at the same time, like, I don't want them to see my good reviews.
You're like, oh, no. I didn't think you were going to read this.
This is why I'm not an author. I don't want you to read my words.
All right, well, on that note, we better get going. We've got more tea to drink and books to read. Our social medias are down below. Make sure to rate and review this podcast if you want to support us. That is a good way that you can help us out, get us on top of those charts so people can find us and we can have more bookish nerds to hang out with.
Yes.
And chat with. All right, well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.